Hey YouTube, how you guys doing today? Today I'm going to teach you how to do some basic electric. I set this wall up in my garage to teach my 16-year-old son how to wire up receptacles, switches, lights, and so forth. Figured I'd make a video and show you all the basic of how to do simple things. Let's get into it and see where we're at. So I started with this first box, and I literally took my wire and I put a cord end on it so my son didn't have to work with anything hot. We'd put the wall together and then plug it in and see if it worked. If it worked, great. If it didn't, then we broke it apart and tried again. But for the most part, he got it down, and if he can do it, I'm sure all of you can. Alright, so first we're going to put a receptacle in this box here, and then in this box we're going to put a single pole switch that is then going to turn this light fixture on up here. So we'll start with step one. We know we have our power coming in from our cord. We have one wire that's going out, down, comes over, and it comes up to this box right here. It's going to feed our switch, and then our switch is then going to turn on the light fixture above it. So let's start by putting this receptacle together. So there's something that you need to know. Everything needs a positive and a negative. So in all reality, the white is your negative, the black is your positive. Now in the electrical field we call this the neutral, and we call this the feed. So we always have a ground. The ground's going to be the shortest route to the ground if electric, say a lightning struck your house and it carries it through the wires in your house. It is designed to go be the path of least resistance straight to the ground rods outside your house, instead of carrying throughout the rest and burning everything up in your house. So on this outlet we need a ground, a neutral, and a hot. Now these have these little tabs here, so unless you break them off for certain reasons, if we put these two whites on this receptacle without the tab broke, it feeds the receptacle and then passes through to the switch. And it's going to be the same thing with the hot. Unfortunately, there's only one ground screw. So what we're going to need to do is we're going to need to take these two ground tails plus a piece that I just happen to have laying around here from doing the projects, and we are going to make a tail. And take our pliers, we're going to twist it together. We want a good twist so that if for some reason this wire nut falls off, if I didn't tighten it right, that wire splice is not going to come apart. It's strong. We're going to take a wire nut, we're going to put on it, and that's going to make sure that it doesn't come apart. So now we have our one ground, our two neutrals, our neutral in, neutral out, and our two hots, hot in, hot out. So we're going to take those and we are going to put them on this receptacle. So strip it. Hook. Now these devices do have a spot in the back where you could technically stab a piece of 14 gauge wire into it, but I don't do it because that connection is literally just a tiny little alligator bite inside of it, and it's only making contact with one teeny little spot. So I like to hook them and put them underneath of the screws and torque them down. So like I said, we got our one ground. Tighten that thing down. And then we got our neutrals. One in and one out. Tighten that down. Some people like to use drills to put their outlets in. I like to use a screwdriver just because I feel as though I can torque it well by hand, and I can guarantee you that it's not going to have a loose connection. And there's our two hots. So now that we got our two hots on the outlet and secured, this part is done. We just successfully took a feed into the box and sent it out of the box over to the switch. We're going to go ahead and we're going to screw this thing in. And that part's done. And we're going to come over here to the switch. Now the switch is a little bit different. It has a hot or a ground, and it's two screws on the other side. One's going to be the hot, the other one's going to be the wire that goes up to the light. Now you notice there's no neutral screws on this. So first things first, this light needs a neutral. So since we don't put it on the switch, we're going to take it, and just like we did with the ground tails, we're going to twist these neutrals together. We're going to make a nice spiral, and then we're going to put a wire nut on it. And basically that sends the neutral straight through the box and up to the light fixture. So the light at all times will always have a neutral. And once again, we've got two grounds. So we need a ground tail. So we're going to cut them. We're going to take one piece, put them to the in and out, twist them together, and make us a nice twist. And now we just successfully passed the ground up to the light fixture. Now in this specific light fixture, we don't need a ground. I'm just using your standard keyless light fixture. Is basic. You know, you'll find these in your garage, in your attic, in your crawl space. But it doesn't require ground. But all other lights do. So we have our ground tail, we have our feed in, and our feed out. So once again, we're going to put them on a hook. We're going to take our screwdriver and we're going to tighten these guys down. There's the hot, and there's the wire to the light. And basically inside this switch, with the switch in the off position, this little jumper inside opens up and it disconnects these two screws. Once we turn it on, it now allows it to close, and the little metal touches and these two become one, which then sends the power up to your light fixture. So now that's in, we'll go ahead and screw this in. Drop that screw, so take another one. And there's that. Now, the final step is to hook up a light. Like I said, this is just a basic keyless light fixture. There are two neutrals, two hots, no ground. So they put two screws on in case, say you have two lights in your garage. You can put one in and then the other one will feed out to the next light. Being as this is just for a test, we're only doing one. So since we don't need the ground, we're going to take it, we're going to coil it up, and we're going to stuff it in the back of the box. Just leave it there. It's perfectly fine, not going to hurt anything. We're going to take our hot, And we're going to take our neutral. We're going to put curls on them. Now let's get it hooked up to this light fixture. So, there's our neutral. There's our hot. This fixture happens to have 2 slip screws. Now this will come with a machine thread screw, but in the garage testing with my son, we use drywall screws. Don't do that in real situations. But for here, for convenience, this works best for us. So there we go. There's our light. Now, let's screw a light bulb into it. And let's see if the magic works. We're going to take our wire with the cord on it. I happen to have an outlet right here. And we're going to plug it in. Okay. So, if what we did works, our outlet's now hot. And when I hit this switch, the light's going to come on. Ta-da. There you have it. So, once again, that's a basic circuit. That's just a receptacle that feeds a single light switch and then up to a single light fixture. Well, I hope you found this interesting. As always, leave a comment, like, subscribe, turn all the notifications on, and